Now, Tom, I know it's sometimes hard to follow up Sterling and Center Ridge, but that's where you find yourself this morning. We're 2 days out. We kind of broke down the Rice and talked a little bit of Texas, but I want to more dive into the Longhorns this morning. Tommy and I and a lot of listeners know about Bijan Robinson, what he provides, but I want to know about the quarterback situation. We had the Texas broadcaster, the play-by-play guy, on halftime this week, and he's saying 2 quarterbacks are going to play, both Hudson Card and Thompson. What kind of quarterback situation do you think the Longhorns are going to roll out on Saturday night?
Good morning, everybody. And by the way, fall's on the way. It's chilly outside today. But I can't say what Steve Sarkisian will do. Obviously, the circumstances of the game will dictate if Thompson gets in the game or not. I mean, they trust him, clearly. He went in at he went in when the game was still in doubt and performed well. But I think Hudson Card, for a redshirt freshman, seemed to show great poise. He got out of some situations early in the game with his legs. And so that's going to be an issue for the Razorbacks, having to contain him. But, either way, you got to go to the air a little bit more. And
one of the things you'd like him to be in law, you like him to be under Dorian. I can't remember if you guys reported this as well, but Hog Beat's reporting that Dorian Gerald's out of the season. If that is indeed defensive line depth, Arkansas's defensive line on Saturday.
Yeah, we did. It's coming out just right before Sam Pittman and the guys went on the radio tonight that something had happened at practice. You really feel really, really in 91st game of the game this happened. And, they have the depth to handle this.
Yeah, and you hope, I know Ridgeway's playing more inside technique, but you really don't care where the pressure comes from on that front line, and generally it is from the guys on the edge, but somebody's got to figure out how to hit the quarterback, and whether it's Card or whoever they're running, and really I think the key to this game is not letting number 5 beat you. Robinson's one of those guys that can line up in a number of positions, but when he has the ball, he's slippery, and you saw last week against Louisiana, Tom, that you can't hit this guy to the ground. You got to tackle him to the ground.
Yes, you do. So this is a tough defensive task for Arkansas. Barry Odom's going to have to scheme up what players they want on Robinson. Do you want to match linebackers up on him on the edges and things like that, or do you want your safeties? You want Catalan to be more responsible. So I'm sure it's going to be mixed up a little bit in what they do, but I think when you look at Robinson, the way they used him last week, he's kind of like the Devontae Smith that Sarkisian had at his disposal last year. Now, Smith more, a tailback, but they did all kind of stuff, backfield motions and outflanking you. And what he did in the playoffs was just, I don't know if we've seen better play calling and usage of personnel. And so Robinson is kind of their multi-purpose guy, but they have another Robinson in the backfield, and Roschon Johnson. Both those guys got 8 carries each last week, and they're capable as well. So I do believe Texas will try to establish the run, try to, just get in third and short, the way LSU did on Arkansas last year. And Arkansas has got to create some early down havoc and get them behind the chains and make Card have to throw the ball.
You mentioned the linebackers a moment ago. Obviously, we've known for a while now that Bumper Pool's going to miss the first half. How do you think Barry Odom maybe prepared his team this week compared to a week where you'd have those guys going into the game for a full 4 quarters? What do you think the conversations have been like to avoid this problem moving forward, and how are they going to deal with Bumper Pool's absence in the first half?
Yeah, well, the good thing is they have a guy like Hayden Henry who he and Poole were just running 1 and 2, and in fact, Henry was with the ones a lot more frequently than Poole was at the weak side spot. So I think the first half you'll just see a lot more Hayden Henry, and then if they have to, they got some backups. Woodard could come in, and possibly Deion Edwards and Pooh Paul. But Sam Pittman talked a couple times this week about lowering their target. And the problem they face is if you're bearing down on a ball carrier, and in Poole's case, it was a receiver who'd caught a short pass right over the middle, you're bearing down on him, and at the last moment, that guy lowers his head. There's almost no way to avoid the helmet-to-helmet contact. And so that's what I think Sam Pittman's frustrated about, the punishing what the crime is, that it was unintentional, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how they sort that out. The rules committee's got to take another look. Grant Morgan's, I think, could have been avoidable. He didn't have to hit the quarterback. So they just have to be cognizant of where their helmet is going to impact the guy moving forward, and is a good start.
Tom Murphy with us here on the Morning Rushes. We're live from the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Tom, Trey Knox playing a little tight end this week. Now, Sam Pittman, I think, said last night has moved there, or that's been confirmed. But what do you think about Trey Knox potentially adding some depth to that room?
Well, he gives you a faster than normal tight end, willing to be in there in the minimal amount we saw on Tuesday. I don't know how it sits with him, but Sam Pittman did make sure to point out it wasn't a permanent thing. But maybe if it's something you can use to, hacker for a few plays in one game, that could be a difference maker. But we'll see whether or not he gets reps there, and maybe he's a motion kind of guy. Maybe he's an H-back, and he actually, they can set up carries and little dumps and things like that, and who knows how the matchups will go. But, there's only a limited amount of touches that you get per game. And when you're dropping passes and, misfiring on third downs, that's why Arkansas fans were so frustrated in the first half. They had third and shorts, and, what they had schemed up wasn't working. When you convert those, then you get more guys, more touches. Kendall Catalon had a great camp. Jaquaylin Crawford did things. T.J. Hammonds is there, and none of those guys got touches. So they've got to keep the ball and try to get more touches and spread them around.
The wide receivers didn't really help KJ in the first half, but he also didn't help himself, holding the ball long at times, not throwing it to guys who were open. So the nerves has been a talking point. He's just nervous his first game starting inside of Reynolds Razorback Stadium. But you know how hyped up this game is. You know how many fans and players have been talking about this Texas game leading up to this point. What do you think his mentality, his nerves are going to be walking into a sold-out Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium on Saturday night, Tom?
Yeah, he'll be hyped up just like everybody else. It just so happens that he's going to touch the ball on almost every play, and so is Hudson Card. I mean, that's the thing. The fans will try to rattle Card and see if if they can get him off his game. It's funny. Travis Swanson was speaking up here yesterday. Matt Jones passed this along to me that the first play of the Alabama game in 2010, everybody will remember, it was a huge pass play to Jarius Wright, I believe. Swanson said he was so hyped up, he almost hiked it over Mallett's head, and had it not been for a 6'7" quarterback, the first play of the game, instead of being a huge pass play, could have been a 15-yard loss because Swanson snapped the ball over a guy's head. So there's jitters of all kinds, and, conquering those and getting yourself on top of it is critical, and hopefully for KJ, they don't last very long.
And you look at last week's schedule, there was only in the conference, there was only 4 games that featured Power 5 teams against each other. This week you got one conference game on the slate with Missouri and Kentucky, and then just 3 other games that feature Power 5 competition against SEC teams. That's Pitt at Tennessee, Colorado, and A&M playing in Denver. And then this Arkansas-Texas game. Tom, I think it's pretty clear if you look down the schedule that Arkansas-Texas is the game of the week in this conference, and it's been a while since Arkansas has been kind of in the spotlight as the showcase game in the Southeastern Conference. So the atmosphere this week is not something we've seen in a long time, where Arkansas is kind of center stage on the SEC schedule.
Absolutely right. That's why the SEC network is here, and they're getting this hype. I mean, it's a sexy game, and you want to show well. If you have another first half like you did against Rice, directly dismisses you. So you want to execute well. You want your defense to be flying around. You want to create some turnovers. You want to hold Texas's run game in check. Because if you get bludgeoned, then here in week 2, people, turn their attention off of you. If you pull off an upset, then the attention lingers with you and carries into the Georgia Southern game. So I think all of Arkansas personnel, coaches, players, everybody, they understand this, and hopefully the moment's not too big for them, and they go out and execute what they've been taught.
Yeah, and a chance to beat Arkansas hasn't had enough opportunities lately to counter on that. They've had some spots where they won last year. Mississippi State was overranked at number 16 when they won that game, and That was the only ranked win last year. So, a chance to really make a noteworthy victory here in front of your home fans and a full house for the first time in a long time.
That's right. And so many people are going to be here, and it's a primetime game. Be a lot of national media that watch this game, and Twitter will be alive with things. So you want to show well, and let's not forget they had number 13 Auburn on the ropes and really should have won the game last year too. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yep. All right, Tom, good stuff. We're looking forward to a great atmosphere Saturday, and we'll recap it with you early next week.
It's that time of the year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all of the pro and college football action this season. Get all of the updated odds, props, and contests, including the online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest, the world's largest 200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Here's what you have to do. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus. Take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager's going to be refunded for up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using the promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.